Welcome, everybody. Another episode of High and Empowered. I had a quick reminder today that everything is about now. Everything is about what you're doing right now. We don't move now. We don't think now. We think for later. We do for later. So here I am today reminding myself to do things now. Don't wait for later. Don't wait for tomorrow. Do it now. So my little name down here is just now. I'm the Oregonji, but it's all about the now. Today, we are talking about what is medical cannabis? What is recreational cannabis? How do we actually see the difference between the two? And is there really no difference? In my opinion, there isn't. The product is entirely the same. Now, I do feel on the medical side, we do shape our research or our growing more towards beneficial cannabinoids. But all in all, the product is exactly the same. So today, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the mindset behind it. And I really feel it's just mindset. When we change the way we see it, when we change the way we approach it, I really think that we see it not as recreational. We see it as medicinal when we need it that way. We see it as recreational when we need it that way. It's when we need it, how we see it. I use it both. But in that both, it's both medicinally. In that both, it's helping me with my arthritis, with my neuropathy, with my fibromyalgia. So with all those different things going on, medicinally, cannabis helps me. Now, when I'm in pain, maybe it's been a long, hard day, I've been working really hard, I've been driving, my body hurts, I get home, I just want to relax, kind of like if somebody were to stop and drink a beer when they get home, or have a few beers. I don't drink, but I'll light up a joint. And in that joint, my muscles will feel better, my body will feel better. And all in all, I feel better. That's medicine. Yes, recreationally, I'm using it lax. Recreationally, I'm using it to ease the body and ease the soul, but it's medicine. So really, the only difference between recreational and medicinal cannabis is how we see it. And I mean that on a grand scale. When you start to change the mindset of people and start to realize that cannabis is not just looked at recreationally. Anything can be looked at recreationally. Anything can be abused. Look at cough syrup, Robitussin. These are things that are overused, abused, not always, but they can be, and they can become dangerous. So today we're going to talk about what is the difference, and is the difference only in our mindset? Is the difference only in how we see it? And if it is, then that can apply to everything, anything. We can change the way our brain sees it, and then the world around us changes. So I look at cannabis as a healing agent, a relaxation agent. But medicinally, it can do so much more in combination. So today we will also be talking about the combination. We will touch and talk about the different cannabinoids, their uses, and where directly they can be responsible for healing and help. And that's where it's going to get exciting. But before we get too into anything scientific and technical today, remember, this is High and Empowered. We're getting together to sesh. We're getting together to smoke, to talk. And that's what this show's all about. It's about smoking and talking and getting together as a group. So in that, I do have some very interesting new flower and new products that we're going to be trying out today. I do want to quickly mention, I'm not usually a big fan of disposables or things like that. And when it comes to vaping, I only vape rosin. So I had visited the last few days Gold Flower. Gold Flower, wow. Look, they're bringing quality back. The whole discussion with cannabis here in Florida has been price for such a long time, but not quality. And when I came across quality, that was just, dare I say, from what I've tried, outstanding. Just wow. So I'm just gonna throw that out there. So I'm currently smoking this and a few other things, but let's get this close to the camera. And for those of you that can't see and can only hear me, this is ideal. Brands that are presented by Goldflower. This place is so fancy, so bougie. That's what cannabis needs. Cannabis needs to be fancy again. It needs to be bougie. It needs to have so many strains to choose from with education and knowledge behind these strains, where they can help, what they can exactly do. But this is fantastic. So this is live rosin. Live rosin, and look at the gorgeous color of that. That's really pretty. And if you can't see the color, it's a beautiful amber. It's clear. It's thick. It's not moving. You know, even with this hot weather that I'm dealing with right now, it's really not moving around much in the pod. This is a disposable. Now, they also have these available in 510 threads, which are the screw on, screw off, which are available for most types of batteries. But it was daring. And I said, let's try the disposable, because I don't do them. But I asked beforehand, I go, what kind of disposable is this? So they explained it's ceramic on the inside. We're not using metals. The big deal for me is I like to have a button to press, because I like to control the type of hit that I'm taking. But this is breath activated. And normally, breath activated disposable thingamabobbies, they cut me off. They don't let me have enough of a hit. I have nothing but good things to say about this. And it's a disposable. I've been calling friends going, you have to try their disposable. And others like, what, Goldflower? I'm like, yes. Like, I have friends that have tried it and they're raving about it. I go, they're raving about a disposable? And so, and so I'm continuing to give my 2 cents on it. But live rosin, this is a sativa, and I just really lovely. Actually, I think this is a sativa. I cannot remember which one this is. I know we have also 2 pre-rolls we're going to be trying, and some Heisman flower, which gorgeous. Wow. Actually, I don't know if this is the Heisman one by Ricky Williams. Heisman. This one is the lemon cherry gelato. The smell, yes, I already tried it. I had to. I already had to try the lemon gelato, this lemon cherry gelato. Delish. Beautiful terps on this. I should have saved the package, and I think I did. I'll look for it in a moment. You know, I don't save enough packages, but the bud looks good. It's trimmed really nice. Gorgeous crystals on there. Immediate smell factor. It's a little sticky. You know, when you pull it apart, it's got a little bit of a stick to it. That's what you're looking for in a great bud, especially if you're going to use it to make tea, or if you're going to use it to juice. You want a little of that icky sticky left to that bud. That's beautiful. That's going to really change within your bodies. But gorgeous bud. We're going to check that out and talk about it a little bit later. But this is Goldflower. They deliver. So if they delivered 18 counties, I wrote down all my little notes, but 18 counties, very groovy. Definitely we'll be talking about them a little bit more, and even quite possibly next Wednesday, if I can pull this off, because I like to get backstage access. I like to get access to places that you want to see. I want to show you the farm over at Goldflower. If I can pull that off and I can get a little tour, maybe we can come live next Wednesday with their head growers. I think that would be pretty awesome. If you think that would be awesome, say something in the comments. Let me know. But so excited. We're going to be getting some really great access. So let me just give a little puffy and get this day going, or get this chit chat going. Remember, smoke them if you got them. I'll be pulling out a pre-roll in a moment. And by the way, their pre-rolls so different. Wait, I'll get to it. I don't want to overload you. I'm overloaded. I was so excited with quality flower. So just quick thing. I was just in Denver, and Denver has some really good bud. One of their best things, one of the best bud out there in Denver that everybody's always trying to get a hold of was I don't even know what it is now. Oh my God. My brain just completely shot. But all right, their best bud out there, which it'll pop back to me in just a second, that everybody's trying to get a hold of, which was really good flower. Green Dot, that's what it is. I knew my brain wouldn't leave me. Green Dot was lovely. So when I came back to Florida, now I'm spoiled. I was spoiled by just incredible small batch, beautiful bud. Just really quickly, let me show you this. Gold flower. So when I say I was spoiled over there, I came back and I was worried that I wasn't going to get what I was looking for when I came back to Florida. Oh, I found it. Look at it. I mean, I know you can't, if you're listening to the podcast, you can't see the bud. But if you're watching, I'm going to try to show it to you. That's a dark, gorgeous purple. There are beautiful colors in that, but I wish you could see the gorgeous, gorgeous crystallization. Oh, that is the most delicious. And look, I'm breaking that open a little bit. It's got a nice, beautiful, gorgeous, dark purple to that. Really impressive. And look, sticky, still sticky on my fingers. That's what you're looking for. Not if you break it up and it's dusty. You break it up and there's no stick, there's no ick. That's not good. So I came back. I wanted better bud here in Florida. So last week, Kyle and I were speaking of some of the delivery options. And he mentioned gold flower. I'm like, you know something? Let me contact some people over there. And I drove down to Bradenton. And so I went to go check it out. And wow. So we're going to be getting more information about them. We're going to be talking about them a little bit more as the show kind of progresses in the coming weeks. Hopefully we can get those live interviews at the farm. I can show you backstage some of the beautiful process and the flower that they're producing, because I'm that impressed. That impressed. And look, even with a disposable, I never get impressed. This, it hit right. So anyways, So as you see, it hits really well. I can get a beautiful, even, clean hit out of a disposable. And for a lot of people, by the way, that are looking to quit smoking, just going to throw that out there. Cannabis helps you quit smoking. Not all cannabis. At first I was smoking distillates, trying to quit smoking using distillates. But the biggest problem is that I didn't get the same feeling. Like when I was smoking cigarettes, I would get a certain feeling when you take a drag. And I would get a certain, like the nicotine would give you a certain rush. And when you're doing vapes, you don't exactly get like nicotine vapes or anything like that. You don't exactly get the same kind of rush that you'd get from a cigarette. So to put down the cigarettes, I started smoking rosin. Rosin was the only thing that gave me the mouthfeel, gave me the throat and lung kind of feel of a cigarette. You want to break that oral fixation, and you want to break that nicotine addiction. Nicotine is a strong, overwhelming addiction that messes with your brain, messes with your body, and your body doesn't want to kick it. So you got to be able to kick it sometimes with something else. My suggestion is try cannabis. Try a good rosin. So this one, I'll remember the name of this strain in a moment. I'm terrible. I know I should be more prepared, but not at the same time. I'm enjoying it. That's it. For me, they had so many different strains and so many different things to choose from. You know, I enjoy the options. I enjoy the quality choice. That's a big deal for me as a consumer. So this very lovely rosin. As you see, it's a rechargeable unit. Here on the bottom, it's like a C-type charger. So if it runs out of charge, but it hasn't yet. And I got this yesterday, and I've been puffing straight on this. Haven't run out. The charge has still been even and good. So anyways, enough of that. Really enjoyed that. That's a nice on-the-go. You need a quick puff, a quick recharge to your flow. The disposable pen's great because you can just throw it in. You don't have to constantly charge it. You don't have to worry about it. It's ready to rock and roll. I love this. This one, not others. I mean, I've tried so many others and I hated them. This ideal gold flower, super awesome. Just okay. That's it. Enough there. Let's talk about what the difference is. Let's talk about what medical cannabis and what recreational cannabis actually is. And as we do that, we're going to smoke. Dun, dun, dun. What is this one? There's a pre-roll, and I want to show you these awesome pre-rolls. I got a white truffle, which is an indica, and I don't normally do indicas, but I do love white truffle strains. And I also got the orange bowl. Now, this is a sativa, and they recommended this. I said, look, I'm not going to even go picking through all of your lists. You pick for me your favorite, what you think I'm going to love, what's going to make the biggest impact. That's what I want. And by the way, pre-rolls, when I tell people I'm getting pre-rolls, they're like, why? What are you doing? I judge a company on its pre-roll. I judge these MSOs, these smaller flower companies. Look, first thing I did when I got to Denver, pre-rolls. I'm judging your brand on how your pre-roll is, how fresh it is, what kind of flower you're using. If you're not, I mean, I don't want trim in my pre-roll. I don't want really tight. I want big, full, beautiful, fluffy, high THC bud. And I want that in my pre-roll because my pre-rolls are just as expensive as when I buy my flower loose. I want it right. All that being said, you know, the way people roll here in Florida, or when you buy pre-rolls, it's usually like a cone or a small cone, and their machines, their units are sitting up, and they pack loose flour that's been really grated down into these units, and they keep packing them until, you know, and they keep shoveling it in until they have a lot of joints made. This one is something different. This is rolled like I rolled it with a rolling machine. Like, you know, those little, like, you know, rolling machine. I use a dollar bill. So if I'm going to roll a joint, I use a dollar bill. I could do it freehand, but it looks like a pregnant cow. It's terrible. It's probably like the worst thing you've ever seen in your life. But this is how I would roll it with like the machine. So if I use the machine and their rolling machine rolls it like I would do like by hand with a dollar bill. That's kind of cool. So let's go ahead and get this smoking and I'll get back into the conversation. It smells good. It feels good. Look, take a look at that if you can. And if you're not able to see it and you're just listening to me right now on the Spotify or the pod thingy or wherever, check this out. So it is a really nicely rolled with a filter. You see that? It's a simple, tight roll, 0.5 gram. Simple, easy. I love easy and simple. The reason I like to get pre-rolls, I don't want to take time to roll it myself now. I'm too bougie for that. No. I want it done for me. I want to make it. Look, when it comes to my medicine, if I need it, I don't want to also, now sometimes I need to break it up by hand and I need that smell and I need that ritual. But if I don't have time for the ritual and my head's kind of hurting and I think a quick sativa can bring that headache down a bit, I like a pre-roll. So this one right here is the Heisman. It's one of the Heisman. It's 34 Heisman, Ricky Williams. And this is a 0.5 gram of Orange Bowl. I'm pretty excited about this one. It smells fantastic. The second I opened up the container, I was already truly excited. So I figured, why not? Let's keep chit-chatting, but make sure I've got a pre-roll. Now, I thought Kyle was going to join me today, and he's not. Fine, whatever. I could talk on my own, but it would have been nice. But I think next week we are going to have some guests. So gear up and get ready. Okay. I told you we're coming together. This is our afternoon smoke sesh. And again, I'm reminding everybody it's about now. Take those chances now. Work harder now. Make more money now. Turn that report in now. I don't know. It's all about the now. Live life now. Go walk through a garden. Go visit the beach and pick up seashells now. Don't wait to do things in your life. Do them now. Have no regrets. If there's somebody that you want to talk to in a romantic way, now. If there's a job that you're trying to get and you're after, chase it now. Go after what you want now. I mean, be responsible and respectable about it, but now. Take that chance. Make that gamble. Don't make a huge gamble. Don't lose money. I don't condone you losing money in any kind of gambling venture whatsoever. but take the chances in life that you want to take. Don't contemplate them your whole life. Don't think about it your whole life. Do it. That's what changed my life. That's what changed my perspective and my future, was doing things now. So let me continue the now, one of the benefits of a roll, immediately orange blast. Just on the initial inhale. Oh, and so incredibly smooth. This is like the king of smooth, and for a sativa, I mean, that was just like the first hit. Usually that's a harsher hit, but no. Woo. I will be visiting Tampa, and I just heard that Goldflower has a location opening up in like a month or two in Tampa. Now they've got one, I think, in like Largo, and St. Pete just opened yesterday. I just saw a post the other day on that one. St. Pete just opened up Goldflower, but they're delivering already in that whole area. They do same day delivery, by the way. That's what I'm talking about. When it comes to cannabis, I want it today. I'm going to make the order today, this morning. I want it this afternoon, this evening. That's the best way. Or at night. Last night, I'm thinking about it. I place an order. I get it first delivered this afternoon. Isn't that great? So same day delivery, immediate next day delivery. That's awesome sauce. So Goldflower, I'm impressed right now. You can tell I'm impressed. They got a lot of shit going on, but they don't have that many locations. So you got to drive to find them. It's about quality. And that's something, so quickly to touch on that, that's something Florida has been missing out for such a long time. Not to, and I don't want to single out any more companies. I don't like to give free ad in that way, but not a lot of companies are authentic in their service, in their mission, in their goal to serve the patients, the medical patients of Florida, the best possible quality product, because then it becomes about price and where they can save money. I think it put itself out. That's how fresh that shit is. That's alive. Look at that shit. If your joint puts itself out almost immediately, that's some fresh weed. That's good. That's what I want. I want the fresher shit. I mean, I want to know at least it's the freshity. When you talk about a medical program here in Florida, you look at your MSOs, your multi-state operators, your big providers, and you look at them to give you the best quality product. And a lot of people that are in this market don't know other markets, don't know other quality. Up in Oregon, the quality is insanity. There's like a Delilah Rose, or a black Delilah Rose, that I tried once. Like velvety. It sang to me, or I was singing to it. I don't know, but it was amazing. So the quality varies by temperature and growing environments and how much money and time and effort they're putting into that product. So it's in Florida, price has really become a big deal, and the consumer wants more for less. But that's not cannabis necessarily. In cannabis, you've always been given choice, and that's where medical is very important. On the recreational market, everybody's about the discounts. Everybody's about buy one, get one, or buy this, get that, or da, 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 da. It's about how much they're going to sell, how much their bottom line is going to bring them to. Medical is about treating individualized people with individualized cannabinoids. That's the future of cannabis medicine, is treating people with the individual cannabinoids that can help them, that can heal them, in combination with possibly other medications, in combination with eating healthier, exercise. It's meditation. Clearing your mind can do wonders for how you envision and how you move forward in the now. Cannabis is about quality. When I was still purchasing and playing around on the gray area marketplace, there's a ghost. In the gray area marketplace, we always had choices. We always had options. You can get this bag for this price. or you can get this bag for this price, or you can get this bag for this price. And you could see the quality difference. Now, the growers have gotten really good at making their buds look fantastic, but not always is it fantastic. There's some out there where when you open the jar, it doesn't smell good. It might look okay, but it doesn't smell great, and it doesn't smoke great. It can be very harsh, and I'm not going to talk about anybody individually. They have some products that are great, but their flour, not so great. Now, the flowery, they have good flour, but as of lately, it hasn't been as fantastic. And then you have gold flour. What I'm smoking right now, this would be probably the top 3, the top 2 in Florida. Wow. That's insane. That is insane. Just from already the products that I've tried, I'm going to say top 2 Florida in quality. That's huge. Look, it put itself out again. It pulls so nicely. This is the way you roll a joint. I'm enjoying that because I can take a few hits. I can put it down, walk away. And then when I need more, come back. I can come back, relight the joint, and enjoy this once again. And the flavor and the taste. That's the reason they call this one Orange Bowl. Very orangey. Now, the citroën, the citrus, the limonene, the myrcene, a little bit of spice. These terpenes are great for waking up your receptors. See, this is your neurotransmitters. This is where cannabis gets very exciting, where I look at it medically. This is a vasodilator, opens up the blood vessels, gets the blood pumping, activates my brain, gets me paying attention, gets me centered, gets me very, not just creative, gets me very there in the moment, very now. We need that sometimes. Especially those with ADHD or ADD or any kind of bipolar, we need to bring our emotions and our mind together. A good sativa can do wonders for your mind, brings focus, where we lack focus sometimes. I lack focus a lot. I deal with that. I smoke a good sativa, I am solid on focus, exactly what I'm talking about. That's medical, because without that, my mind wanders. The questions abound. I think of this and I think of that, and then I start to daydream, and then I start to create. There needs to be structure. The sativa helps bring me structure. Even the smell of that burning is delicious. So this is Orange Bowl by Gold Flower. They've recently just changed their name over to Gold Flower. That is rocking. That is really nice. We're just going to keep smoking that one. I got another one I might break into in a second. So when you talk about cannabis medically or recreationally, I feel if you're using it recreationally, you're getting medical benefits. But if you think of it in a medical way, do you get more medical benefits? I mean, does it all change? Is it more placebo added to the benefits of the cannabinoids working in our endocannabinoid system? Is it a little bit placebo? Is it a little bit us saying that this is for medical, or I'm using this specifically for a medical application? Does it change in the mindset of anybody else around you or that you're dealing with? I'm like, well, I'm using medical cannabis to deal with my fibromyalgia and my neuropathy. And maybe somebody you're talking to is like, oh, that is fantastic. But that same person might be talking to somebody like, oh, I'm going to go smoke a joint so I can feel a little better. Oh, you're going to go smoke a joint recreationally. So they cast a shadow of judgment upon you because you're smoking a joint for relaxation. But isn't that still considered medical? We need to relax as a society, as a people. PTSD is mental health is such a big deal. We need to take time for us now. In the now, right now, you need to breathe. You need to enjoy the beauty of the outside, the butterflies, the hummingbirds, a beautiful garden walk through. You need mental health. We all do. A joint is my form of mental health. I smoke and I feel better. Did I put it out again? Wow. All right. This is my fault. I just keep talking through the entire thing. I talk in between every time I'm taking a hit, I talk and then it goes out, which is awesome because the joint's not burning away. It's waiting for me. That's some great flour. mm. By the way, everybody, thank you for joining me today. And for those of you that are going to listen to this later on the Podbean podcast, Spotify, whatever, thank you for joining me later on as well. I'm going to try to be more descriptive because I was told somebody was calling me and they said, listen, I listened to you and I can't see anything. So when you're talking about things, describe them. Like, okay, I will definitely describe things a little bit better. And you know, if you want to be on the show, if you have something to talk about, if you have questions, and it's something relevant to what we're kind of roughly talking about, because you know I don't completely stay on topic. I'm all over the place. That's what a good session is about. Let's talk about a little bit of everything. Some conspiracy theories, some medical, some healing, a little bit of getting high, maybe some planting things in the garden. I learned something new about sweet potatoes the other day, how to propagate them so amazingly. Wow. Okay, so what I do, I take a sweet potato, just the sweet potato, a nice, beautiful purple one, and I drop it in water where the water is covering half of the sweet potato. Within a couple of weeks, it starts to root. And then it starts to shoot out these shoots all over the place. When the shoot is strong enough, like maybe like that big, you break it off and you put it into the water until it has roots. And then you put it directly in a mound of dirt where you give it at least 2 feet radius, 3 feet. And now you'll have sweet potatoes. Well, no, not now, but later. See, wasn't that easy? I didn't even know that. This is what the show is all about. So what is medical? Medical here in Florida, it's the same product. It's how we approach it. And I feel we can approach recreational with more of a medical mindset. I'm not saying don't, like, oh, I'm going out to get high tonight. You know, I'm going out to get medical tonight. I'm getting medical. I think it's in the mindset. I'm going out to get medical. I'm not going out and driving and getting high. I'm coming home to get high. You know, if I'm going to have a beer or something like that, I don't have a beer. I'll have a joint and I'll sit there and have a quick joint or maybe a few puffs and I'll put it down and I'll walk around the land. I'll make sure all the animals are fed and you know, and or do chores. It doesn't matter. It's just incorporated as part of a lifestyle. People go outside and have a cigarette. Cigarettes don't smell great at all. When I quit smoking and I started to get my smell sensors back, I can smell what I used to smell like. In ashes like everywhere. I could smell what I used to smell like when I smoked cigarettes. And that right there has deterred me from ever going back to smoking cigarettes. So that, if anything else, I mean, I dream about them sometimes, and I can smell them on people and I'll go running up to people and be like, oh, blow it in my face. I know that's weird. It's weird. Nobody blows in my face. And I really haven't said that recently. But yeah, no, they smell fantastic. But then you smell it after a few minutes and you're like, oh no, oh, I can't. It's making me nauseous because I can smell the smell of it on other people. Cannabis, I am pretty sure it does that too. I mean, could I say it? I did. No, it still went out in me. So I thought I just say, for those of you that can't see, I thought I just saved my joint, and instead, no, I said, wait, what am I doing? It's tiny though. I got to be careful. It's like I'm going to burn off any hair. I have no hair. Well, sort of. Okay. There we go. I'm back once again. So the difference, I think, is mindset. And that's the difference between medical and recreational. But let's talk about the benefits. I said I wanted to talk about benefits today. I wanted to talk about some of the cannabinoids. And again, if you have questions, ask. Ask, and I'm just checking to see if there's any comments. No. Fantastic. And by the way, I found later on LinkedIn, I don't see the comments till later. So if you want to leave any comments, put them in the chat, and I will definitely answer what I can, or put them in the comments of the the podcast or the live itself, and I'll definitely go back and answer. So let's look at it. Let's look at the different cannabinoids. Let's talk about them. See where they're good, where they're beneficial. I know last week I was talking about THCV. That's the extended hydrocarbon found in sativas. Not all sativas, only certain strains, and only strains that have been sun grown or have been, or I think sun, or have at least some sun exposure. And I believe as long as they've been cured and dried properly, you get a good high quality THCV, and that's like in Durban poison. So Durban strains, I believe Colombian Gold is another one that has high THCV. And THCV is an appetite suppressant, helps with diabetes, or at least regulating the blood sugar of the body. THCV is also good for your neurotransmitters. It reawakens zombie cells. Again, there's a lot of research out there, and all of this has been substantiated. Neuropathy, fibromyalgia, THCV. You know, what is the best form? What is the best way to get it? I'm going to smoke a sativa. But when you smoke a sativa, you're burning off beneficial cannabinoids. So all the beneficial extras burn off at certain temperatures of heat. So I make a tea. Now, when I say I make a tea. Look, tea, you're only partially decarboxylating the product. That means you're only partially heating it up, not even past 250 degrees. By doing, because after 250 degrees, you start to decarboxylate, really, your cannabis. It starts to change. And it starts to go from CBG, A, in her acidic form, and starts to change to THCV, THC, CBD, CBDA, CBC, CBCAs, and then it gets into your CBDs. CBD is amazing. First, I want to let you know that I look at CBD as an incredible extra. You need it. You need the full spectrum health of what CBD in all of its forms is able to do for you. But without THC, and you need just a little bit to act as a glue, it bonds CBD to your system for longer periods of time. Look, I cannot stress this enough. And a lot of people get in and say, look, I've tried CBD. It didn't work for me. It gave me the shits. Look, I don't know where you bought your CBD. CBD only bonds to the body for maybe 2 to 4 hours if you're lucky. And that's not enough time for CBD to open up in your body. You want it to bond for 20, 30 plus days. And the only way CBD is able to do that is with the combination of THC. Or if you don't want any of the psychotropic effects and you don't want to feel high, then CBN. CBN is an aged, oxidized form of cannabis. It's THC, but it's changed. It has aged, it's oxidized, it's become something else. That can act as the bonding agent for CBD if you're looking for a full spectrum CBD effect in the body. So CBD, what exactly is it? It's an antibacterial. It's helping to relieve anxiety. It's a sleep aid. It's anti-inflammatory, antibacterial. It's anti-cancer. It's an analgesic. It's, oh wow. I mean, there's a list, a huge list. It's a neuro. It softens the neural pathways. It creates the ability for THCV to create new neural pathways. I keep putting it out. In that CBD, as it bonds to the body for longer periods of time, it's able to do incredible things. You know, it's able to really help the individual. So why then THC? THC is just as important as an anti-inflammatory, an antimicrobial, an anti-epileptic, anti-inflammatory, a painkiller, because it is activating those neurotransmitters that are activating your pain receptors. So it's controlling the pain in your body using THC in the combination with CBD. So for a lot of people, they tell me, well, cannabis on its own. I'm like, what do you mean on its own? Well, THC, it's not working for me. I ask, are you using CBD? I did in the beginning. I bought it from like a gas station or something, but I haven't tried it since. Everything they said there was wrong. They bought it in a gas station and they haven't tried it since. Look, CBD is great in tinctures. It's great in capsules. It's great in edibles. But don't smoke it. You're not going to get any benefit. You're going to burn off all those cannabinoids in the high heat of burning it. So THC is an appetite stimulant and an appetite suppressant, depending which one you use. THCV acting as an appetite suppressant. So, it reduces vomiting. This is THC. And in that, it works together with CBD in all of its multiple forms and THC in all her multiple forms. They work together. It's not one thing, it's everything. When I tell people about cannabis, it's whole plant medicine. It's RSO. RSO, Rick Simpson oil, or also known as FECO or FECO oil. FECO. I think it's FECO. But it's a full spectrum, full plant healing medicine, full spectrum, everything. It's got every cannabinoid available that has not been destroyed in any kind of decarboxylation or in any kind of extraction process. So most of these are extracted solventless. And if not solventless, then some RSOs or FECOs are done, I believe, with alcohol or ethanol or anything that evaporates very quickly and helps in the breakdown of plant matter and other things and turns it into this incredible sludge that is really amazing and healing. It's the full plant medicine in combination. What's the combination? So the combination is health. Fast food is a big one. I've got people that like, don't tell me not how to eat or what not to eat. I'm like, I'm not. I would never. But we have to make small changes so that overall our health and overall well-being changes. This is my poison. This right now is my poison. It's delicious. And if this company made all of its products just like this, delicious. It's got like a whole new line of products out. I'm not saying the company, but it's an espresso and cream, like in a little green and brown can. It's the thing that company makes. Used to make other delicious shit, but now it all tastes like cereal milk and their new energy drinks or triple espressos or double espressos. The most disgusting thing I think I've ever had. I was driving yesterday to a long drive, Mount Dora, and then from Mount Dora to Bradenton. Wow, I had time to really think about what I was drinking because I don't want to stop. I had a drink. I'm going to drink it. Even though I hated what it tasted like, I kept drinking it. Really gross, just gross. So yeah, whatever. But this I enjoy. This is like delicious for me. Other than that, I have to usually try to stay with tea. Tea, water, but watch the water that you're putting in your body. Alkaline water is very good for the body. You don't want to create an acidic environment. Cancer survives in acidic environments. So if you're using RSOs, delicious. Okay. If you're using RSOs to help fight like bone cancers or blood cancers or tumors or whatever you're using it for, change the water that goes in your body. Change the way things are transmuted, assimilated, moved through the body. Cannabis attaches to the fats of the body, and cannabis moves through the fats of the body. So if you give it better fats to travel with and travel through, it has less restrictions, less things and blockades in its way. Alkaline water helps to re-alkaline the body. Cancer cannot survive in a highly alkaline environment. And if that's what you're creating and doing RSOs, it's a great start to go along with whatever treatment your doctor recommends, along with what you're doing. I don't believe in all those treatments, but I'm just going to say to do this in combination, it gives you a fighting chance. It makes you at least feel better, gives you the ability to eat. Remember also that now the reason I say an RSO, because there's a high quality of CBD in there. It's a product with THC and CBD. So it's already got that combination. It's already got that sticking glue that helps bond CBD to your body and let it work for that long period of time. And as an antibacterial, an anti-inflammatory, anti-cancer, antibacterial, it's very exciting when you use it properly. But if you just smoke a fucking joint and say, hey, why is this not working for me medically? You need to use it medically, think about it medically, and approach it medically. The individual cannabinoids, I don't believe they're everything. They're used in combination. I lost weight because of THCV and other sativas. So I mean that by saying I didn't just smoke a joint and then sat there on the couch, ate pizza, and was like, I'm losing weight. No, I got up. My mind changed when I started smoking the right things, when I learned about the right things to smoke. Most of my life, when I first got into cannabis, I was a kid, and we were smoking out of a can where we would dent down one side, poke a few holes, poke a hole on the side for air, and then we'd be like, using a can. And that's how I started. And that was pretty, see how fast I can MacGyver a pipe like this if you need it. So, so anyways, I'll just check for comments, just make sure I'm not missing things. Oh, great. Oh, good. Yeah, we've got someone there. Anyways, we're just going to keep it going. So, that's how fast I can make a pipe. When I first started, we were smoking mostly indicas. We didn't know what we were smoking. Indicas are mind and muscle relaxants. So mentally and physically, they would relax me. Now, at that age in my life, that was probably the smartest thing I could ever have gone through, because that way I didn't get immediately involved into, bad things. I still did. And then I got sent off to a military school where I ended up getting much better weed. And then I started learning how the strains were changing and how these would affect me a little differently. But I still didn't know anything until my early 20s. And then I started researching. I started looking into it. I started unlearning and relearning. And it was a friend that helped me kind of guide into a different understanding of cannabis. But I still didn't know enough. I just knew more. And I started delving into sativas, because before that point, everybody always told me how bad sativas were. They'll cause anxiety. They're going to, paranoia. But that was all hearsay. Everything I smoke now pretty much is a sativa. Everything's a hybrid, but hybrid heavily leaning sativa in different variations, except for this white truffle that I'm going to smoke later on. But that's later, and it's an indica. It's going to be very relaxing. And then I need that because I don't sleep at night, because my brain keeps working. I keep working, literally. I work and I create my days ahead of me, and I pre-plan and I plan and I create and But I love that. And I love how my mind works, and I utilize my mind to its fullest. But at night, it doesn't shut off. It doesn't stop. It's still going. It's still creating. It's still on fire. And there are some great ideas. But I'm going to smoke that white truffle, and the thoughts will slow down. The body will relax. As my mind relaxes, the body relaxes. And I will naturally be tired. I will naturally want to fall asleep. And then my body can go through that natural progression of rest and relaxation and rejuvenation before I can get up the next day. That's medically helping me. But I'm also going to enjoy the path that it takes me on. Just because it's medicine doesn't mean we can't enjoy it. And that's a mindset of the older generations that have been mind controlled against cannabis, who have gone through all of that advertising tactic, years of propaganda, against cannabis. And now, only, by the way, I just saw a statistic, only 8% of the seniors are using cannabis to help them with their medical issues. 8%. Wow. That's the lowest number. But that's huge. I mean, it's huge when you think 10 years ago, none of the seniors, unless they were, but I guess now, as the people are progressing and aging, the seniors are changing. They are open to alternative health remedies alongside what they're currently doing. Cannabis helps keep you young. I truly believe that. It keeps me energetic now. It wasn't always the case. I told you, I used to smoke mostly indicas and I was overly relaxed. I became lethargic and lazy without motivation. I mean, I wanted and I did things, but I was a kid. I wasn't rushing my life. And mid-20s, I really started understanding my journey through cannabis a little bit better. I started going through a journey of learning how to age and cure and press hashish, which is something Florida has not seen yet, but when it does and it understands it properly, what a treat. What a beautiful treat that's going to come to this market. So, anyways, that being said, I started learning about it differently and understanding cannabis differently. So the sativas started giving me a different energy, a different focus. It took my depressed thoughts, it took my lonely isolation that I was doing to myself. It took my lazy, lethargic attitude and behavior and feeling of body and so just everything. My vibe used to be so bad. I would smoke a little bit of the sativas and I would feel amazing. I would it would give me incredible energy. And in that incredible burst of energy and focus, I was like, let's get some shit done now. Let's get things done now. Let's become more than, and then I started realizing it took me out of my depression. It gave me the energy and the focus to be able to work or be able to socialize. And at the time I was a DJ and I was working at night in the clubs. So my schedule, albeit a little different, but when I would go through a regiment and I would microdose my sativa cannabis use and the insane energy that this gave me, it changed me and changed my perspective on the world around me. So I used to be a person that did not like people. I mean, I say that. I was one of those people where it was like, I hate everybody. And I don't give a shit about blah, 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 blah. I didn't fucking care. I was terrible. I was self-centered. I was such a bastard, an asshole. That was me. I was just into myself and I didn't know anything. Nothing. The sativas bringing me out of depression, bringing me out of this self-centered attitude and behavior, and the journey that it has sent me on to understand more than me, to see more than me, to love more than myself. That's been cannabis in the combination, not on its own, but me willing to take that journey, me willing to go and change who I am from the inside so that I can be better on the outside to people and that I can truly appreciate them and life and everything it has to offer and to see past the depression. Now, it still gets me. I still deal with depression. I still deal with issues. So then I'll smoke a strain that, is high in ass-kicking depression abilities. Actually, this one, I remember what this is. This is roll-up, fruit roll-up or roll-up. And the bud tender said that I was going to taste a myriad of fruit flavors. And it was high in terpene. I look for a good high terpene. That's what I love. If I'm smoking something, I want to taste it. Every single time, I hit that, I want to be able to taste. I want to be able to taste the terpenes, the flavor, the joy of that. That helped bring me out of a temporary depression, out of being down. You take a couple of hits and you're like, oh, okay, I see the world a little differently. So it's in the combination. I wish I had cannabis as a kid. When I say that, I wish when I was a kid and I was seeing a psychiatrist and telling that psychiatrist the most dark, terrible thoughts that a child could have, I was having these thoughts on the medication that they gave me. They gave me medication to fight depression, to fight my ADD and my ADHD, or it wasn't adult attention disorder. It was just attention deficit disorder, ADD. But we didn't even call it that back then. It was just a hyper ass kid, hyper kid that couldn't concentrate. So they were testing medications on me when I was growing up. And the thoughts and the dreams and what that did to me mentally was shocking. And it sent me to a psychiatrist. And then I'm telling the psychiatrist these dark, terrible things that weren't really me, but what were been put into my head through medication. Cannabis has never done that to me. Sativas, even though everybody always said, oh, they're going to give you paranoia and blah, 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 never. I microdosed it. I eased into it. Start slow and go higher. Don't start like huge amounts and be like, oh my God, what's going on with me? Because you don't do that. You start small and work your way up. They've never given me bad dreams. But as a kid, I would go to the psychiatrist and tell them these terrible, dark things. And I wish then that psychiatrist could have just been like, listen, I think you need a treatment of cannabis. I think you're right. What the fuck is cannabis? I mean, that's what the back then. But now we have an opportunity to help in combination treat people with mental disability of depression, with issues that we label them of attention deficit disorder or excessive disorder or compulsiveness or bipolar. Maybe we need a little bit of cannabis, RSO would be great, in micro doses to their regimens through a doctor's supervision. I think through the rescheduling of cannabis, when that eventually might happen, we never know. But that will be something incredible. That will, because the rescheduling will at least give validity to the medical claims that cannabis is able to help with. And what are some of the medical claims? I mean, in that, it's an anti-cancer agent, anti-inflammatory, pain relief. It's a sedative. It treats nausea and inflammation. It increases and decreases and controls appetite and blood sugar. It has calming effects. It's psychoactive. It decreases. Wait, I'm not even on the right page. Okay, so let me see. The actual multiple sclerosis, nausea, post-traumatic stress disorder, cancer, epilepsy, HIV, AIDS, glaucoma, degenerative neurological conditions, Huntington's disease, Parkinson's disease, dystonia, dementia, glaucoma, traumatic brain injury, addiction, anxiety, depression, sleep disorders, schizophrenia, and other psychosis. Wow. We're talking about mental disorders here. We're talking about how do we see medical cannabis and recreational cannabis? What's the difference? There isn't. It's the same beautiful plant that is able to do both things. It can bring you joy while it's treating you. It can lift your spirits while it's treating you. It can help you to eat again while acting as an anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, as it's a vasodilator, as it coats the stomach. I said it before, like Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee never smoked a joint, but he ate raw cannabis. He would have it in a pouch, he'd put it in his mouth, he would chew and emaciate it, and then swallow it. And it would get to his stomach, and it would coat his stomach, and it would stop his pain. It would allow him to be able to eat properly. Cannabis is an ancient herb that has been used by the Chinese for 3,000 plus years. They have studies on it for over 3,000 years. There must be something to it. There must be something to the medical application of cannabis. So what's the difference? It's how we look at it. It's how we see it. I aim to always introduce the medical side and medical and education into recreational, because by doing that, you learn, and you smoke. I mean, shit, when we're getting together right now on our session, today on High and Empowered, we're just talking cannabis. We're talking cannabis, and we're talking how it can help, where it can help, why it can help. As a community, we used to get together. We used to chit chat and say, hey, you know, what do you know about it? What do you know about it? Let's talk. That's what we're doing. We're talking about cannabis. Look, anorexia, weight loss, cannabis. That's THCV, by the way, with the weight loss and weight control over a long period of time. I ended up losing weight I quit fast food more than 20 years ago now. 20 years ago. I mean, I did try a burger not too long. It was gross. I couldn't eat it. So I got to buy it and do it down. It's in the quality. And by the way, in quality comes back to cannabis. It's not just about price. It's about price as well. And when you can have good price and good quality, wow. And I'm just saying, I'm just saying, good quality and good price. Wow. Very decent. Not giving out prices right now, but I'm telling you, it's worth every penny. That's what I'm going to say. But look, cannabis, talking about it medically, Alzheimer's disease, that's sativas, by the way. That's THCV. That's CBGA. That starts attaching to the neurotransmitters immediately. Look, glaucoma, you want it to be able to attach and attack what you need done. Individual specified cannabinoids in different form can help. That's why I say make a tea. I love tea. Tea can help you. Look, a quick thing on tea. Get a loose leaf tea blend. All right? There's one out there called Rose Up, and it has rose tip, and elderberry, elderflower, just a myriad of beautiful things. And then you use that as your loose leaf tea blend. Take enough cannabis flower, enough for like a joint and a half, 2 joints. Break it up with your hands so you can smell that beautifulness. And then you drop that into the mixture. And also shave up some beautiful fresh ginger. Put that in there. Close the little. It's like a little ball. It's like a little ball, like a net ball, and you just close it. And it's going to dangle there. And then as soon as the tea kettle screams, you want to put it on the side for like a minute or 2, maybe 3. Let that temperature come down around 250 degrees, maybe a little bit lower. And in your cup that you're about to pour everything into, put some fresh, beautiful, wild flower honey, like local honey. Good local honey. Oh, no, fantastico, molto bello. Okay, and then you're gonna take your dunker, put it in there. Get that water, put it in there. Let it steep. Let it steep with the thingy. Don't touch it. Leave it alone. Let it steep for like, I don't know, like 6-7 minutes, not even. As soon as it's cool enough that you can drink it, start sipping on that. By the time you get done with that cup of tea, you will then understand why I'm saying make tea. I know. They're like, shut up, Oren. Look, if you can use fresh leaves, the sugar leaves, the trichomes, if you can much more raw, then get it. But with the flour, do it this way. And you want a flour that's got a little icky sticky. If the flour is overly dry, no. You need a good, beautiful high terpene. Don't worry about the THC. Worry about your total cannabinoid, your total count. So not just THC, but what it has as a total. And CBG is a big deal. CBC is something you want. CBN is something that you want. So that's big deals. These are the things that you want. Make tea from it. When you're done with that cup of tea, you will feel it in your body. You will walk lightly on your feet. What a beautiful way to get a full cannabinoid, full plant health. And if you don't want to waste the tea, the cannabis once it's done with the tea, maybe take it out, maybe chew on it, emaciate it, turn it into, like into mush, into like liquid, and then swallow that as well, so that can get into your stomach and that can get into your digestion. Use the whole plant. Don't just smoke it. Use it differently so that we can get the benefit of those cannabinoids. I mean, look, it's irritable bowel syndrome. IBS, Crohn's disease. Right there, eat raw cannabis, make the tea. Raw cannabis and making tea, and also juicing raw cannabis. So beautiful. Do it with a green juice. Whatever green juice that you would normally make, if you ever do make, if you do any juicy juicing, if you do juicy juicing, do a juice with cannabis as well. Add that to your regimen. Beautiful. Right there, we're doing small changes, adding it in, microdosing. You're not going to get high by eating it raw. You're not going to get high at all. But these are different ways to consume it and have the body start assimilating it. This is what I use. This is what I do. I talk about it a lot lately because this year I turned 50. And as I get older, it's about health. It's about keeping the longevity of my youth, or at least the appearance of it. I don't always feel youthful. Actually, when I incorporate more cannabis into my diet, into the butter, raw cannabis, juicing cannabis, making tea with it, I sleep better. And I wake up feeling better, not as sore. Because like lately, I've been working out a lot. I've been trying to get in shape and stay in shape. So when I wake up in the morning, I'm sore. My body hurts, and it's like, oh. And that's the time I work out. I try to get 30 minutes to an hour in, and you need motivation. And if your body hurts, there's no motivation. So I'll be honest, I have a little smoke session in the morning, maybe a quick joint outside on the porch, maybe a little puffy from the rosin. And then all of a sudden, it don't hurt so bad. All of a sudden, I'm feeling just a little bit better overall. And in that overall feeling, I'm like, let me start working out. Let me start stretching at least. So I start by stretching. And that's it. Before you know it, I'm working out. And that's it. I'm doing it. But cannabis, remember, it's the combination. Before working out, I smoked a sativa. So it opened things up. It took a moment. It wasn't immediate, but I was enjoying that. So I had my cup of coffee. I had my joint, and I just felt good. I felt better. That's how I start my day sometimes, because we wake up and we're not feeling great. We wake up and the day ahead of us is rough. Maybe the news caught us and we're watching the news and it depresses the shit out of us while we're drinking our coffee. Our brain just can't process. So before I even watch any of that, don't watch the news. I get my coffee. I get my joint or my little puffy of the rosin. And, that's lovely. I go out to the porch, take a few hits, have a little bit of my coffee, and I breathe. I breathe in the day. I don't breathe in stress. I don't breathe in chaos. I don't breathe in the pain. I just breathe the day in, and I begin. I get the right mindset. I come back inside and I turn on the stupid news and I stretch. And I start lifting a little bit of weights and I stretch and I start working out. And before you know it, an hour's gone by and I've gotten that regimen done and I feel good. I feel better. I feel like I can kick down doors and rock and roll. That's it. Let's do it. Let's conquer the day. So after I work out, that's it. Get out of my way. We've got so many things to accomplish. But that's fantastic. That's how it should be. That's feeling great about yourself and about your journey, and using cannabis in combination. So in the morning, I used it to get rid of my pain, my morning pain that my body was aching. I used it to mentally get my head right. So was that recreational or was it medicinal? I feel it was recreationally medicinal and medicinally necessary. So it's how you look at it. It's the mindset. It's how you approach your day, how you approach your medication. And so I that's it. That's the talk. That's what we were talking about today. Is there a difference? No. The medication is really the same. I think on the medical side, there's more of a probability of strains being developed that are more medically cohesive, medically necessary. So yes, maybe a small amount. I mean, look, when you're dealing with traumatic brain injury and you're dealing with certain things that can help rewrite and rewire the brain, we are going into realms that are groundbreaking. Look, I haven't even mentioned COVID, not once. I just did. Whatever. COVID. It's a whole other story right there, and where cannabis can help. And recently, there was just another article, even one that I posted on my page on LinkedIn, showing how cannabis can help block the body from even receiving COVID or the SARS virus. Wow. Or even once it does, it helps push it right out of the body so it doesn't attach. Not just for COVID, but for flus and viruses and other things moving forward. Cannabis is a viable option? Absolutely. This is what we've been talking about for years. But now that we are this close to Schedule 3, we can really talk about it. We can really start getting it out there and letting people know the 1,000,001 uses and the research that is already out there. On my LinkedIn page, if you're watching this via LinkedIn or you have access to Oren Allen, me, or the Oregonji, on LinkedIn, I have, you're going to have to look in like featured posts or something, but I have research studies specifically for cancer. I think it's like 34 research studies where cannabis is specifically a help towards cancer. I have another one, I think it's like 700 studies, A to Z, every ailment of where cannabis can help medicinally, with studies and double-blind research, peer reviews to back this up. The excitement that I have in the emerging space of cannabis, of is it medical, is it recreational? It's both. So we're teetering recreational markets. And they're like, well, there's a difference, but there isn't, because your market gets bored. Your market's uneducated. And when I say that, in a recreational market, they don't know anything and they're not purchasing right. So you're wondering why your customer base doesn't purchase this or this or this, because they're not educated to purchase that. We're so busy selling specific brands that within that, we forget the solution. People come to your dispensaries for community, for education. They learn from you and your people. And in that learning, in that first impression, if you're just coming to cannabis or if you're just coming into this to a new dispensary, that first impression can revitalize you in the world of cannabis, can revitalize you in the community of cannabis that we don't get, that is taken away from us in so many different places. So right here on High and Empowered, this is our community of cannabis digitally. This is our digital smoke sesh. If you are capable, smoke with us. Light one up. That's what we're all about right now. We're just chatting. I'm just talking. I'm just telling you what's happening and how we need to look at cannabis. We need to look at it educationally. We need to help the politicians, the people making the laws for us, understand the medical benefit and the future of using cannabis properly, cohesively, in combination. Look, it's maybe an interesting one to say. I haven't been high in years. Now, I say that, I get high, and I've been high. I've been like, oh, shit, I did some good shit, I'm high. But not like the giggles like I got when I was a kid, when it first lit up my endocannabinoid system, lit up my neurotransmitters. But as I've gotten older and my body deteriorates in different ways from different actions and functions, I realized that using cannabis reduced the pain. Using cannabis buffered my emotional instability in very, very fiery emotional moments, emotional losses, physical loss. And cannabis made sure I didn't lose my mind by giving me a moment to assimilate and think about things, by giving me a moment to just relax and to be in the now. not in the chatter that surrounds your head, because it's always there. And sometimes you need to drown that out so that you can see clearly. And cannabis did that for me at some very dark times. Cannabis needs to be there for people in dark times. And by it lifting spirits, it's medicinal. So I look at all those times as medicinal cannabis, medicinal necessity. You know, I mean, it's this one's a little small. I don't know if I should be lighting this. Just so you know, I'm lighting up the same joint, the orange bowl. It's tiny. It's tiny. I mean, I'm just gonna be careful. All right, we still have a few hits on it. I mean, and it's still delicious. I just lit that up and it was still super orange. That's really nice. And see, so when I said I haven't been high in a long time, just now I took a hit and I felt that quick rush. And I was like, oh, and that rush kind of came from here right up into my brain. So I was like, oh, and it just lightened me just a little bit. I was like, oh, that feels nice. And the breeze just kind of hit me. So the breeze and that little rush changed the situation. That's getting high now. And then if I do a lot of it, maybe I get very high. Maybe I get very into a flow, into a mode. Maybe I get artistic and creative. Who knows? But never giggly, high, or uncontrollable. My body had to assimilate it. My body had to learn how to control it and adjust to it. And as a kid, you know, you don't do regimens. You don't know all the different ways cannabis can help. But as you get older and you get smarter, you understand. And you're simple. Put things together simply. Like I'm simple. And I need it simply put together. 1 + 1 makes 2. So if it makes sense like that in front of me, then it makes sense. Don't overcomplicate things. Cannabis was the 1 + 1 that made 2. It showed me physically how it helps, mentally how it can help. And that's the many different strains, that's the many different flavors and flavonoids and terpenes and the ways that it can shift and what I'm actually looking for and what my body actually needs. That's where cannabis is so different and ever changing. But for individual cannabinoid therapy to the individual person, for things like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, there's already research out and there's already proof showing how cannabis helps rewrite the brain. And it gives people with Parkinson's and Alzheimer's and dementia a chance to survive, a chance maybe to heal, maybe never completely recover in some cases, but maybe more than where they were, better than where they were. A little better is better. It's a start. It's something. It's a small victory that sometimes we need to take. If you're looking constantly for a gigantic victory in everything, no, that's a small victory. Look at the small victory. Look at that as the small change, the help that's required. So Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, Huntington's disease, dementia, any kind of traumatic brain injuries. Look, this is medical cannabis. PTSD. I deal with different forms of PTSD. Our soldiers come back from war, from service, with incredible PTSD and brain injury or trauma. Cannabis is that buffer. Cannabis helps in so many ways. When I say I don't get high, I'm high. And people are like, oh, you're high all day, like you're high. I'm like, well, if that means pain tolerant, okay. If that means mood balanced, okay. If that means a brighter perspective, a little bit more comical, a better flow, not being shy, I can talk to anybody. I can sing and dance with the sky. See, look, I'm even rhyming and shit. Then yeah, I'm high. I am all those things that you want to say that I am. I am better, mentally and physically. I am balanced. I am ready to approach the world and everybody in it. I don't say high. I say balanced. I say medically balanced sometimes. I don't know. I say different things. But that's it. It's not high. It's necessity to deal with the world around us because the world is hard. I mean, just don't go watch the news. That's terrible stuff. Wow. I can't accidentally okay, let me look at it. Oh, what am I doing? No. All right, let me look at it. Oh, no. Why? It pulls you in. It's like they've got some kind of sound beacon. But that's it. We're cannabis. I mean, cannabis as a community, that's what we are. We're come together to answer your questions. We've come together to talk about individual cannabinoids. And today we've talked about any individual ones. Not really. I mean, CBD, yes. We talked about CBD and how you need THC to bond CBD to the body. Do you need a large amount of THC like I'm using right now? No. A moderate amount is nice. You don't need to go absolutely insane. By the way, I just want to mention, remember I was talking about Gold Flower earlier on. They deliver. So I just want to mention, in this awesome delivery that they do, they show up in Teslas and Lexus. They're wearing suits. They bring a classiness to where cannabis really needs it. That's what we need. It's price. Price is great. Their price is decent. Their quality. So I said it earlier. I'm gonna stick with it. It's like top two. Top two right now. They're underrated. I'm gonna spread the word out there a bit. I was talking about Sanctuary not too long ago, and they were okay, but there's some of their buds falling off. Gold Flower? Look, this disposable. I know. What am I doing a disposable? And you saw me, I'm puffing on this thing the whole time. It's solid. I don't even need to hold on to it. It's lightweight. It's air activated. And I'm just going to show you some groovy shit really quickly while I puff on this. And for those of you listening to me, I will try to be as descriptive as possible. That was a big hit. Wow, that's a little lightheadedness. That's a high. I mean, if you want to classify anything as high just now, I just got a really good rush. My nostrils cleared up. My sinuses became easier to breathe a little bit right now. Cleared out like a bronchial dilator. Just cleared out whatever's sitting in my lungs. My brain just kind of got this rush of, hey, how do you do? And that's it. And it just kind of wore away just now. And then it's still there, but it's kind of doing this beautiful float. And that's nice. Groovy. So this is Gold Flower. I want to show you how bougie. Look at that. It's not just what's in gold, right? Look at that. That's so nice. Even like on the bag, it's ripped. Look at these gorgeous ribbons. So very, very good stuff. They got informational packets in here that tell you all about this. But first time going to the place. First time. All right. And stickers. So I got stickers, one for Ideal. Check these groovy sunglasses out. I love sunglasses. So I got a pair in white. Okay. And I love sunglasses. These are fantastic. And I've got these awesome pair in blue. So of course I'm going to be using them. If you're going to give me sunglasses, I'm going to wear sunglasses. Okay. Moving on. So more stickers. And I did go for Third Eye. I did want to get some Third Eye, which is the new Wu-Tang collaboration over at over at Gold Flower. Wow. And as soon as I asked for it, they're like, "We're out. I'm so sorry, sir." Like, no, don't be sorry. That's a good problem to have. We're getting some more soon. I'm like, please. I can't wait to try Third Eye. Third Eye. So that's really groovy. Rick's picks. So all these stickers are going somewhere. I have a sticker area. So I love stickers. Get me stickers. You want to give me stickers, give me stickers. I love them. This is actually really cool. This is awesome. Wait a second. I'm going to show you the rest of the stuff, but this is just in my bag. I'm nothing special. I went in, bought some shit first time. And look at this. This is like a card. You see that? Ricky Williams, the Heisman. The Heisman. Wow. And spark greatness. That's what it says on the bottom. This is a card. I'm putting this like somewhere. This is pretty awesome. I have like a whole area of stuff that I save. I've got pipes. I've got, and when I say pipes, I have so many pipes. It's ridiculous at this point. I want to say maybe 100 different, maybe more, little tiny hand pipes, like things like this. You know, I've got like 100, maybe 200 of them, different ones that I picked up over the years. Some are broken, some of the insides cracked out. You just don't, you don't want a broken glass. And why would I throw it away? It's a piece of art. So I clean it and I put it on a gorgeous shelf where it can showcase the beautiful art piece that artist had put a lot of time into. But this, I think this needs to go on the shelf. Okay, let's keep rocking. That's really cool. Okay, what else do we have? And more stickers. So I'm big on stickers, and I'm going to use this bag, by the way, to plant. So I do a lot of horticulture. I do a lot of gardening, and I have a huge garden that we are developing here on the almost 7 acres. And in that, it's wildlife garden. We are keeping the natural fauna and flora. We're getting rid of overproducing invasive species, and we are allowing some of the natural, some people call them weeds, but some of the natural fauna to develop and become beautiful. So, and a lot of it is drought resistant, and here in Florida, sometimes we need that. But yeah, that's what I do out here. So I'm going to use the bag. I'm going to use the bag, and we're going to use it for planting. So I might do a video where we use the bag to plant the nightshade. Oh, nightshade is a poisonous plant. Sorry. It's a nightshade. And at night, it smells amazing. I mean, when it blooms, it's gorgeous. It has these gorgeous white to pink blooms that like chandelier out. Just beautiful. But you don't smell anything during the day. And at night, they become the most enchanting, gorgeous smell. I mean, I have jasmines planted on the far end of the property that I'm helping to cultivate so they take over. So that as the wind blows from that area, it blows the sweet smell of the jasmine flower. They're not ready yet, but they're almost there. They're starting to flower, and I can smell them already. I can't because I'm looking for the smell. But smell changes your day. Smell creates your day, creates your pathway, creates the positivity. Dare I say positivity? It creates that in your day. Smell changes things. It makes things. So anyways, I'm going to use the bag. We're going to plant something. I'm going to do a video of planting another sticker, which again, I'm going to use all these stickers. I have a great place for them. This is what this came into. So I was going to leave it in there and like open it up and wait, but I couldn't wait. It was rosin. I get very excited. But look at that. It came in such a nice case. It was super protected. And I was just really excited about it. And it did not disappoint in any way. The rosin is delicious. It's smooth. I've enjoyed every part of it. I've been heavily toking on this since yesterday, just to, detect. I wanted to check. Look, I'm doing that to check the device. Me and disposables are a funny thing. I want to see if it has the same pull every time. I want to see if it stays, if it's going to burn the product, but it doesn't. And I found out that it's using a ceramic burning element. This is fantastic. And as I take a hit and then another hit, it's not superheating, but it's also not limiting the intake that I'm taking in on this. I know. I'm raving over a disposable, but I'm not the only one from what I hear. From what I hear, there are others out there that are, there was an influencer. I know I can't remember anybody's name, but they were talking about this thing, saying, yes, I tried it. It's awesome. So yeah. Doesn't matter which side you do it from, the light is on this side. Even, smooth, very nice profile that I can taste it. I can feel it. You know something? This is great to have, especially in your bag, in your back pocket, in the car. Make sure if you have it in the car, don't have it laying down, especially in the heat here in Florida. I wouldn't even recommend keeping it in the car that's not in the shade, because the sun is going to destroy things. It's not the fault of the device. It's the fault of you and the sun. Just get it out of the sun. The Florida sun is treacherous. It really is. Today I'm going over just a little bit. We're just chit-chatting. I'm going to go until I kind of stop, but I wanted to still touch on these cannabinoids. I wanted to touch on why I look at it medically, how it's utilized medically. So I was prepared. There are receptors in your body, neurotransmitters, the CB1, they call it, and the CB2. So the CB1, its cluster of receptors are usually found around here. So from, let's say, around this area right here, then right up to the brain, that would be your CB1 receptors. Your CB2 is more your stomach, maybe lower chest, stomach, into lower intestinal, and then through to your back. There's a few receptors, I think like two, but that's your CB2. So CB1 in this general area, and then CB2. Now you're like, okay, Oren just could have said CB1, CB2. But no, because once those two receptors are activated properly, the CB3 receptor starts to ping. It starts to, and then the CB2 kind of moves down a little bit in the body. I know this is strange, and I'm explaining it in a way that I understood it. So that's how I'm telling you. But the CB2 kind of activates and increases its region, and it takes on like the groin area, upper groin, lower intestinal, right here, and the stomach is very important. And then your CB3, which is, from what I understand, it's neural receptors that are activated by the CB1 and CB2 together. And they create, let's say in the middle, they create the CB3 receptor. But there's still research and still a lot going into this. But meantime, your CB1, this general area, your CB2. Now, what is the CB1 receptors, upper receptors, responsible for? Look, motor activity, your thinking and thought process, your motor coordination, appetite, short-term memory, pain perception, and immune cells. Now, that's all happening in the CB1. These are endocannabinoid receptors in the body. You see how much that's responsible for? Do you see how much your endocannabinoid system has to keep flowing? And it is like so hot. I'm itchy now. It's like humid. I'm in like the most humid of places ever. And I'm gonna do another one of my terrible vices, which is soda. I might not though, because it might explode. And it's explode. Is it exploding? You might get an explosion. Wait, you're live now. Good. No, I was slow. I was patient. You saw that. It's all about patience. It's all about timing. And it's been sitting out here so long, it got hot. Mm, mm-mm. That's hot soda. Wow, that tells you how hot it is here. We've been talking. Okay, we've been talking for an hour and a half. I've been talking for an hour and a half. And that's like super hot. Like, wow, that tells you how hot it is in this camper. And I have a fan, a tornado fan that is as silent as it can be. I keep looking over, shh, be quiet. You're too loud. But I've got a tornado fan halfway down the room so it can cool the air as it hits me somewhat. But it is mighty warm in this camper. So, anyways, so that was the CB1. The CB2, it's like that. Here's where it's your guts, it's your kidneys, your pancreas, your bone, your eye. So it's located down here, but your eyes, why not your CB1? Well, your CB1 and your CB2 together are that neural transmitter, that neural pathway. Tumors and reproductive system, immune systems, your skin, your central nervous system, your cardiovascular system, your liver. This is all CB2, all CB2 receptors. So we went over the CB1, their motor activity and thinking and coordination, appetite, short-term memory, pain perception or pain, immune cells. And then your CB2, it's your guts, your kidneys, your pancreas, it's bone and eye, it's reproductive system, it's the immune system, skin and the central nervous system, cardiovascular system, the liver. Do you see how much is involved with the CB1 and CB2? So when people are like, oh, well, it's activating your CB1 and your CB2, they don't explain what that actually is. That's what it actually is. That's what I wanted to talk about before I do-si-doed off in the conversation about, things. And so short-term memory, I need to do better sativas. I need to use more CBD to work cannabis better through my body. Now, I do CBD and I do full spectrum things, and maybe as of late, I haven't done as much as I should. So that's definitely something I should get back into. But that being said, that's the CB1 and CB2 receptors. That's what they're responsible for. How do we use, look, CBG, it's cannabigerol. I'm probably going to say a few of these wrong. That's just how I do. But it's anti-cancer. It's an anti-cancer agent. That's the beginning. So as it starts its decarboxylation journey, it starts as CBG. Anti-cancer agent, anti-inflammatory, direct pain relief. So it's how you use cannabis. Not that you're using it wrong. You might be using it wrong. I mean, when you're smoking it, you're burning off anything like that. All that's gone. CBG is gone. The second you smoke a joint, the second you light a bowl, any CBG is going to burn up immediately. Right there. I could still taste that lemon cherry gelato, and it's delicious. And in a bowl, normally after 4 or 5 hits, you're not going to taste anything. You might get a little, but that's it. It's done. So at that point, I mix it around a little bit so I can maybe get one more hit out of it. But honestly, at that point, I'm really only getting like CBD. See, you're thinking, really? You're getting a CBD? Sort of. I'm getting a decarboxylated CBD. I'm getting an immediately changed, burnt CBD. So in some of its after effects, it's working. In some of its after effects, it's having, it's bonding to my body. So let's continue going. We said CBG. Let's say CBN. So that's cannabinol. Cannabinol is pain relief. It's a sedative. It's anti-inflammatory. And CBN, remember, is the aged, oxidized THC. Then you have THCA. Now, there's a lot of talk about THCA right now. And that's tetrahydrocannabinol. Cannabinoic. There we go. Cannabolic. Okay. It's acid. So A. When I said THCA, so earlier I said CBGA. That is cannabigerol acid. So same with THCA, and it treats nausea directly. It treats inflammation directly, quickly. It's strong. It increases the appetite. Much like, look, when you may smoke, it may eat it in an edible, and not long after, you're going to have an incredible want to eat. And when you start to eat, everything is going to taste amazing because you've now activated multiple things, not just the neurotransmitters that look and think and talk about taste and smell, but it's also opening up your the layers of what you can taste. A chicken can taste at its core like 20, 30 different flavors. A chicken. Humans can only taste, I think, five. I mean, somebody correct me somewhere, but I think we can only taste like 5 core flavors. But we have variations within those core flavors that we block out through emotion. We block out through feeling, through rushing, through not tasting, because we're thinking about something else and not enjoying the food or living in the now of it. So, as silly as all that may seem, when we smoke, certain things that activate those neurotransmitters, we taste the food for the first time. We drink the drink for the first time. We live this burger, this salmon, this pasta, this lasagna for the first time. This pizza is the best pizza ever because now I'm actually tasting it and I'm living it and I'm part of it. Wow. So THCA. Then we have THCV, which is tetrahydrocannabivarin, calming, psychoactive though, but it decreases appetite. THCV. That's what I was speaking earlier. So THCA specifically increases the appetite. So in the difference, does THCV make things not taste as good? It doesn't make, and this is how, and so I use THCV. I use strains high in THCV and the combination of it. And I smoke sativas. So from my own personal experience, maybe it just doesn't make me want food, or it doesn't make me hungry for everything. It makes me hungry for very specific things that are incredibly difficult to find out and about. I have to make the food. I have to be involved in it. I have to smell as I go. My body will guide me. Like if I'm doing a specific dish, I mean, if it's shrimp, well, how do we do the shrimp? Are we going to do something exciting with the shrimp? Let's do it differently. And I've been watching the Tiki Taki and the Insta Cha Cha and all their little food hacks and tricks and innovative ideas that are coming out. And I try to be, I'm like, oh, let me try this, let me try that. So I incorporate it in a healthy way. But I smell as I'm cooking. And I'm like, no, that's not, I'll smell the spices before I use them. And I'm like, oh, that's not the direction I want to go. Through THCV, I'm cooking smarter, cooking healthier, not just cooking the salts and the sugars and the cheeses and the, not just looking for those immediate one flavor satisfaction. I am looking for a multifaceted flavor satisfaction. That's what I'm looking for. And THCV helps me find that. It helps me on that journey. And in that, I'm healthier. I'm eating better. I'm still having trouble staying away from bread. I do love bread. Bread has become my mortal enemy in all of its forms, and I love it. It's fantastico. Okay, moving on. CBD. I mentioned earlier, look, I was talking about it. I start going into a craze about CBD, but don't take it on its own or it's just going to wash right out of your system in a watery stool. Take it in combination with a little bit of THC. That way it bonds to the body. And that's cannabidiol. Look, I'm butchering words everywhere, but CBD, it's calming, okay? It's an anti-cancer agent in combination with CBG. Use those together full spectrum RSOs. Really get into these. Use as much as you can. If you can use a half of a syringe in the morning and let your body assimilate that and let that fight and isolate and individualize those cancer cells and suffocate them out. Let it do what it can do. Let it activate things in your body that are dormant, that can fight the cancers. So CBD and its anti-cancer agent, it's anti-inflammatory. It does increase the appetite on its own. CBD has been known to just make you hungrier, make you want to eat, which is good, especially with people that have mass nausea. Dealing with a little bit of THC, a little bit of CBD gives them that ability to eat, especially when they're going through treatments that take their hunger away, that take the want to eat away. And bring cannabis brings a little bit of joy back, and a little bit of joy helps people live longer. A little bit of joy in one's life makes people live longer. If you have no joy in your life, if you have nothing to look forward to, if you have no happy left, it affects your health. If you have nothing to look forward to, your body starts to shut down. Cannabis allows you to still see the bright at the now. It helps ease some of that pain. When I first came here to Florida and I started working cannabis, I was in a call center. No details, okay? No names. This patient, her husband had just died. For 10 years, she was taking care of him. And she became wheelchair bound. At first, she called and spoke to one person, and they upset her. So I got a hold of the number, and I called her. And amazing woman. Late 80s, 89 at the time. Maybe, yeah. Wow. Her husband just died, and he had dementia. And she'd been taking care of him solely for the last 10 years. And her health, because of that, deteriorated. She became wheelchair bound. All she wanted to do was work in the garden. All she wanted to do was go on a cruise, enjoy a little bit of life. Her husband died. She wants to enjoy. But she was told through cannabis she can get that. And every time she called a dispensary, they put her off. They wouldn't talk to her. They wouldn't explain the medicine. They wouldn't explain the community. They wouldn't explain how it could help her, where it could help her. They tried selling her a brand, not the solution to her problem. They didn't listen. Us as a community, we listen. She called where I was at, where I was working. And so I called her back and I spoke to her. And it took 6 months to find the proper regimen. 6 months. She was trying different things in different ways. And she kept calling back. And we talk about what's going on in her life and what's going on with the medication and how it was interacting. And she needed sleep. She needed pain reduction. She needed life again. And she had tried cannabis and it made her feel crazy. She didn't sleep. She had the opposite. She couldn't sleep. She couldn't go to the bathroom. And there were so many things. So we looked at the most important one and I listened to her. What was the exact, what's the first solution? She needed to sleep. She hadn't slept right in 10 years. Now, I haven't spoken with this woman in a few years. And the last time I had, she'd gotten a message across to me. And I'm just going to quickly tell you that she went on a cruise. And she was able to work in her garden. I know, I feel like a little kid. I'm crying. But that helped one person be able to live again and be able to live longer, be able to be happy again or to see happy. We don't talk about that. We don't talk about the solution. So she had called this call center and I helped her for 6 months. It was 4 to 6 months. And we talked every other day. And we learned to give her a proper regimen, microdosing. And before I had known, I mean, she was gardening and it was amazing. She was out of her wheelchair in a walker, 90 years old at this point, but she was living better. When you live happy, you live longer. Cancer patients go through so much pain. And we have to bring joy back to their life and have them see that there is light at the end of this tunnel, the now tunnel, the living tunnel. And in healing, cannabis helps do that. Not just helps them eat again, but it helps fight cancer. So we've talked about the different cannabinoids, and the ones I've just talked about were the main ones: CBG, CBN, THCA, THCV, CBD, and THC. This young lady, 90 years old, 91, 92 now, being able to work in her garden again, that was what she wanted in our first conversation. I want to work in the garden. I want to go on a cruise. And she did it. Remember, she was wheelchair bound. She didn't sleep for like 10 years. It took us 2 weeks and we got her to sleep right. And she'd been sleeping right from that point. And that was the first problem. She needed to regenerate. She needed to rejuvenate. She needed to sleep. We found the proper regimen just for that. Medically, that's where cannabis worked. So we talk about today, what is cannabis? What is the medical way are we looking at it? What is the recreation? What is the difference? That's the difference right there. It's the community. Being community, but I was working in a position where I was given the opportunity. I mean, they did rush calls. I didn't rush those calls. I just sat and talked to her. I got in trouble. But then management saw the good and everybody ended up taking their time. That's what we need. We need more care, more time, more effort from people that care. That's what spreads the good word of weed, the good word of cannabis. That's what we need more of. Education of how it's going to help specifically, what cannabinoids, what medical treatments, what studies, what exact medications. That's what the community should be talking about. And that's what they did in the company I was working for. And they helped a lot of people understand cannabis that were not taught by their doctors, because the doctor gives them a recommendation and doesn't really have time to sit down and give the history and give the life and individualize it. It's patients, boom, 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 boom. And especially now, I mean, I know a lot of docs. I went and saw them the other day. I was visiting doctors at Bradenton and Ocala. And I'll tell you something, you know, they're busy. I mean, I read an article the other day that the medical program is falling flat. No, what's happening is people don't know about it. There's not enough community out there talking to people saying, hey, you need to get your medical card. Like with the seniors, I said earlier today, I mentioned that only 8% of the senior population is utilizing cannabis for medicine. I mean, I'm sure there's people out there smoking joints here and there, but utilizing medical cannabis, 8% of the senior population nationwide, 8%. And that's huge. I mean, it's huge and it's not. It needs to be 50%. But there's no education out there. There's nobody out there telling people where this can be good, how it can be used, not to be afraid of it. I smoke live for everybody. You know, I said it the other day as a joke. I mean, I do this for you. You know, I'm struggling for you. But I show it does nothing. My body assimilates it and uses it as medication. So is that recreational or is that medicinal? Is there a difference between the two? I don't think so. Look, I got emotional talking about that one patient. Amazing person. Amazing person. I mean, super emotional I get because of the help. That right there, that sleep that she was able to get. And then she has arthritis. We helped with her arthritis. She has fibromyalgia and neuropathy. We help with that. And in that, by pinpointing the cannabinoids, the treatment, the terpenes, the flower, whatever she was doing, making tea or eating it raw or using certain edibles and oral drops, in the regimens that were set up. Even right now, I bet you she is still doing them. And the last I had heard was like 2 years ago, like a year. Like, let's say a year. My time perception is terrible. I'm gonna say a year ago. Wow, that's cannabis. That's community. That's it helping one another. And when you have a company that cares. So the other day I was listening in to the morning orders that were being taken live over at a specific company, and I was just listening, and I was listening to their staff. Uh, exactly, I'm not going to blow your ear up with it, but they were kind and they listened and they pinpointed people to what they believed that could help, and and when I say help, for enjoyment, for medical necessity enjoyment, for whatever you want to call it. So, I mean, I love that same day deliveries. You keep that in mind. Anyways, moving on. That was it. So we're going to talk. Yeah, that's it. That's your cannabinoids. I mean, there's others. There's 250 plus other cannabinoids present within the cannabis plant. And I'm sure if you look online, there is a number of different websites now that are talking about, the medical uses. I mean, look, I look at topicals, and in topicals, when you use whole plant medicine, there are different topicals out there that are incredible. I have not tried gold flowers yet, but one place, Mary's Medicinals, their transdermal patches and their creams, their lemon, there was like a lemongrass type cream that they had. Wow. Life changers. And actually, here in Florida, where I'm at, there's a company that I used to work for that has a really nice balm, a really nice cream. They actually have two that are really neat for different uses. But that's it. Everybody has great products. It's not just about price, it's about quality. And that's what I want people to see, especially when looking at it in a medical way. Look, if people are like, oh, what are you talking about? Quality, medical. Recreational, you've got this mindset that it's all about high THC. It has nothing to do with high THC. It's the flavor, it's the taste, it's how it shapes you. Look, if you're smoking a joint, every time you hit that joint, you are reiterating that flow, the THC, the high. You're hitting it over and over and over and over. So the high THC means nothing at all. But you're shopping for high THC and you're missing out on flavor. You're missing out on strains. You're missing out on absolute deliciousness. Delicious! That's what you're missing out on. Taste, flavor, the aroma, the overall ensemble effect that it's going to be you, not just high THC. For me, that's medical. So there's no distinguishable thing. And I think, see, I was talking about something and I talked about flower, my brain goes la la land. Anyways, it's been a long talk today. Not just about high THC. And that's when you get to a company where, I mean, look, the THC is, let's see if my eyes can do this. And this one is the white truffle. And there's two of them that come in each one of the kits, half grams. I was so emotional a second ago. I got all congested over here. Oh, I love the healing and the change that healing brings to a person, and the healing and the change that I saw in that person over a period of time was amazing, and how cannabis brought that to them. Amazing. We're going long today. I just saw how long I'm going. This is like a marathon or something. I'm cutting it off in a second. This is crazy of me. Hold on. This is the white truffle. This is, all right, so it's 23.8. So like 24%. The terpene, look at this, total terps are sitting at 2.38. Anything over in flower, anything over 2% is really pretty nice. If you hit 2% in a terpene profile, naturally, that's really pretty good, yo. And 24%. 24%, that's decent. Look, it's decent. We don't need to go crazy. That's That's a good thing. So that's white truffle, truffly, uffly, uffly. It's an indica. Mm. I don't usually find indicas the most flavorful thing. I mean, because sativas have the citroens, your pinings, your. Mm. I love blue cheeses and smokes like that. Uh, I'm currently smoking one of these lovely machine hand roll esque pre rolls from Goldflower, and this is how we end today's show. We smoke a little bit of white truffle. The flavor initially I thought was muted, but it's dark. It's like I can taste it deep. You got to take a moment with it. Don't rush it. It smells pretty dank. Wow. Oh, that's some deep flavors that I believe are in there. As I'm smoking this, we're smoking right now the 20, almost 24%, 23.8 with 2.38% terpenes, gold flower. This is the white truffle. Earlier, we were smoking the orange. There's one more in there. Orange bowl. That was orangey. Very citrusy. Okay. If you allow cannabis to help you, it can. Don't mentally fight it. Don't sit there and tell yourself it's not going to work. In its minuscule ways, it works. In its small changes that it's able to make, it helps. In combination, I always say that exercise is a big deal. You want to get your body right, you want to get the blood pumping. Cannabis helps as motivation, it helps as pain control. When you're working out, you want a little more elasticity, you want a little more, maybe an extra push, an extra pull up, an extra dun, 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 whatever. And maybe it gives you that extra couple of reps. Mm. This is delicious. I mean, it's like it's so light in flavor, but it's not, because you start to taste it as you exhale. I mean, it's like the truffle. It's almost like, I mean, I can, right there at the back of my throat. That's where I really taste this one, and it's strong, and it's strong now. Like it's coming on strong, and as I pay attention to it a little bit, wow, that's some lovely smoke. So smooth. Yeah, that's a really lovely roll. Look, it's not running at all. It's got a really nice resin layer or circle that is forming around the joint. That number one signals at its beautiful freshness and its incredible danky dankness. But that's a sign. Look, when you smoke a joint and you see that shit, then you're like, that's a pretty good joint. That's some happening right there, yo. That's some happening. If you don't see that, it burns too fast and it burns down one end. It starts to boat or canoe or whatever you want to call it. That's some dry shit. That's some shake. That's some, it wasn't packed properly. It wasn't really rolled with love. But this was rolled with some love. I can't wait to pick up more and try different things. That'll be later down the week. But today, again, it's community, it's education. I want to mention, you notice this indica. just kind of calmed me down. I mean, I was watching it in the camera playback just a second, looking over, not as hyper, not as overly excited, still with you and still concentrated, but calmer, maybe a little bit more collected, a little quieter. I don't know. Maybe that's just what I'm thinking. Look, this is your opportunity to be just you, just a smoke. You could turn me down, you could turn me up. You know, it's cannabis that drives me. It's the love of it, the change in people, the healing, the help. That's why I do it. I love it. I could talk for hours about it, for days, for months, for years, because you'll never run out of material. You'll never run out of people, out of stories, out of change. Do you know what we're missing here in Florida? We want to see how our flowers grown. We want to talk to the people, to the growers, to the scientists that are developing or doing extraction. And we want to talk to the people developing and doing all the things behind the scenes. We want to talk to the bud tenders, get their recommendations. We want to be front and center. You know something? We're going to bring you front and center as much as we can, wherever I can. So that's what we're going to do. That's what's coming up in the comings of things. Just throwing that out there. Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. That's about it. I guess I better cut this off eventually. I will talk forever. And everybody enjoy your day. Enjoy the rest of your week. Remember, live in the now. Be the lion, the lioness. Be the everything that you want to be, that you need to be. Be the power that you're looking for. It's you. It's you taking action and living now. That's what it's about. That's what high and empowered is. We are high. We are empowering each other as a community, as individuals. We are all the same under the leaf. We are one community, one love, one triumph, one struggle away from victory. Every moment, every day, in every word we speak. That's where the community of cannabis helps medically, mentally, socially. That is high and empowered. I let the fucking joint go out again. What am I doing over here? I apologize. I know. I should have not let this go out. It's very nice. See, indicas affect my hair differently, make me a little goofier. I notice that shit too. So, all right, we're done. It's 2 hours. I've been talking a long ass time. You guys have an amazing day. Be an amazing week. If you don't listen to me again, have an amazing everything. And have it right now. Bye, everybody. See you next Wednesday or